The problem is when you talk about AI, it's too broad a term.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a sense in which AI has been used, in the film business for many, many years, in different forms. So people are going to have to start getting a bit more specific.
A celebratory week, coming out of the strike being resolved. I'm sure you're happy about that. And
Yeah, very
get
happy.
back to work on your next movie, whatever it is. Bond, maybe.
No, sadly no. No truth to those rumors, but very thrilled that the strike is over and we can all get back to work.
Looking back on this summer, the success of this movie, in the context of like the impending strike at the time and sort of, and throughout that, I'm curious if you have takeaways, because obviously it's a tumultuous time.
It was a very necessary realignment of labor management relations, and it's unfortunate it took as long and it was as turbulent as it was, but it had to be done. The shift into streaming changes the economics greatly, and the contracts had not kept pace with that. So it was a reckoning that had to happen sooner rather than later, and I think it's probably better that it happened now than in a few years' time. We need actors, writers, directors. We need working professionals in our business to be able to earn a living doing it. That had not been the case for some time, actually. So it's very, very good that it's over and we can all sort of, get back to doing what we love.
But speaking of like along the lines of the economics and how, the sort of idea that it's hard to get people back into theaters.
I mean, the release of this film, and we're here talking about the home video release, the DVD and 4K release with an appropriate window from theatrical. Oppenheimer has been released according to a pre-existing economic model that pays residuals, pays into health and welfare and pension funds of the different unions and everything. And the success of it is a testament to people's interest in movies. Young people in particular came to see the film again and again. And now we have another chance to put the film out there for people to enjoy in a different way with the home video release. And hopefully that's a powerful example for studios in terms of how the economics of distribution can work. Because obviously the more that studios are maximizing the return, on individual titles like Oppenheimer, then they can afford to pay people a fair deal and make sure that our actors and our writers are being paid appropriately.
One of our film critics, I remember talking about when it came out, how it's like a blockbuster for adults. Which I thought was like an interesting way of thinking about it. Oh. But then on the flip side, there was some people saying like, I think it was in context of like, Scorsese talking about, you're saving cinema. But in the context of like you having done Dark Knight, I think you kind of got caught up in this like debate a little bit about like the state of, superhero movies and what they're doing to the film industry. I don't know if you paid attention to it at all or if you have any thoughts.
I mean, not profound thoughts. I think, there's always a balance in Hollywood between established titles that can ensure a return audience and giving people more of what they want. That's always been a big part of the economics of Hollywood, and it pays for a lot of other types of films to be made and distributed. But there also always has to be respect for the audience's desire for something new. That's one of the big thrills of going to the movies is, frankly, seeing the trailer for a movie you've never heard of, a type of movie you haven't seen or haven't seen in a long time, something new, something fresh. And so, a healthy ecosystem in Hollywood is about a balance between the two things, and always has been.
Mm-hmm. And you've been able to kind of, you're known as sort of like the one who subverts the studio expectations. Like you can kind of go deeper in movies that are still entertaining.
It is an interesting tension. I think the only productive answer I would have to that would be that it never works to try and overanalyze or over-engineer audience response. That is to say that I'm interested in this, but the audience will think that, or this particular type of film is for streaming and this particular type of film is for theatrical. Those kind of distinctions, they're not realistic in terms of how we all watch movies. We all watch movies with different expectations for what kind of movie it is. We all go to the movies wanting to see something different than we saw the week before. totally different genre, totally different. You have horror movies and comedies and documentaries and whatever. I mean, the movie screen could be anything. And so the more variety we have, the more interesting films are being made, the better it is for all of us as moviegoers and as industry professionals.
I know you were pushing IMAX so hard and was
Yeah.
apparently very successful in terms of it was like sold out for and like people were pining to get it,
Yeah,
Like,
we managed to create, I mean, we've been shooting in this way and putting these prints out in this way since The Dark Knight. But we were always somewhat swimming against the culture in terms of there being a lot of talk about the digitization of films and filmmaking. And I think with this film, we've suddenly seen a massive return on investment in terms of the attention to detail we put into how these go out. And we were able to really interest people, particularly young people, in going to see the film in the right format, the best possible way. And yeah, as of last weekend, the film in America is the number 3 IMAX release of all time after Star Wars and Avatar, a film about J. Robert Oppenheimer. I mean, so that's been an incredible thrill for us because we were the first to shoot Hollywood films on the IMAX film format. And we've been, really advocating, myself and my collaborators, for a lot of years. And it was really fun, really cool to see that pay off and help us eventize something that might otherwise be seen as a smaller drama or something, say, no, this is an engaging, I mean, entertainment's a weird word to use for such serious subject matter, but it is about that. It's about engagement with the audience and giving people, an incredible ride.
it is so funny to like describe it to people because you don't expect to be like on the edge of your seat when it's just like dudes talking in a room for that long. In light of the resolution of the strikes, AI has been such a big conversation. I was wondering, as a filmmaker, if you have objections to using it in films, if you've fully grappled with it. I know it's so new.
Well, I mean, it is new, but through the DGA, it's something we're grappling with. The WGA and SAG both addressed it contractually, as has the DGA. The problem is when you talk about AI, it's too broad a term. So there is a sense in which AI has been used, in the film business for many, many years, in different forms. So people are going to have to start getting a bit more specific. It's a tool. For me, the danger is that we don't view it as a tool. We view it as some other new entity to which the rules don't apply. And that's not the case. It's a tool. It's a tool that writers, directors are going to want to use for different things. And as long as the tool is legislated for appropriately, that the controls are in place, so that people are remunerated for their work. If it's used in AI, things like that, those are the issues that need sorting out. And they do need care and attention, probably legislative attention, certainly copyright law. We have to make sure that these things are all being carefully managed. But as far as the technical progress, the technical opportunities, there are all kinds of wonderful uses of these types of machine learning. The key is to view it as a tool so that the person wielding the tool has responsibility for that, whether it's in a legal, a copyright sense or what have you.
Yeah, it's hard because we're like at this point where it's so emotionally, people are like, there's so many emotions behind it that it's hard to really have like meaningful forward look, like conversations that are productive about it, huh?
Well, also the potential of machine learning and artificial intelligence is all about achieving tasks that weren't thought to be possible before. So trying to plan for that future is sort of by definition impossible because it's about the unknown. And so I think just having a sense of responsibility about it, certainly in the case of our business, having a continuing dialogue with the studios about what protections need to be in place to protect actors, writers, directors, and all the rest. And those are conversations that are taking place.